Hello and welcome to my Golf Club 2 tutorial on how to make your favorite local golf course. So we're going to go to Course Designer, go to New Course, let it load up. New Course we'll name it whatever your course is. I'm just going to name it whatever. Set your theme. I always like Harvest. I think it looks the best. And this is what's really important. Water level we want it at 0. Hills, we're going to chop this all the way down to 10, so we want to make it flat, but we don't want it too flat. And we're going to get rid of all this stuff. Trees, plants, grass, rocks, all down to 0. That's going to be added later. It doesn't really matter. Layout, drop it all the way down to 0. We're making our course. We don't need their course there. Fairway width, leave it at 50. Get rid of fairway bunkers and get rid of the green bunkers. I always increase the green size to about 45. I don't want to put it all the way to 50. I want to go a little bit smaller because I'm going to be doing editing on my own. Depending on how much editing you want, I would go 40 to 50. But you're going to be, I leave them pretty much the same, and I'll add little bits here and there to make them look like my course. I want to try to leave them flat. So apply all this. Now we're left with a pretty much flat course here, not much too much on it. Just going to continue. Now, first things first, you need to go download Google Earth Pro because that's going to make your job a million times easier. They have a great little thing that has a measuring tool that goes to yardage, and that's what I use to do virtually all of my courses. Everything I build is measured out with that. I'm just constantly alt-tabbing between the two of that. Second off, the other thing you need to know is pretty much the elevation of your highest point, your lowest point, and your clubhouse. That's something you're going to be doing later, but you know, it's very important to know. So I have all that stuff written down already. I got Google Earth open in my background, but I'm not going to even be using it because I'm just showing you a quick tutorial here. So I always use Landscape Flatten. This tool is basically everything. The other ones I don't even really properly know how to use them. But this tool you can do everything with, so it doesn't matter. So I go in and I start filling in the water near my clubhouse. Just you can make it a bigger circle too, make it faster. But I like to leave certain amounts in areas that I know holes are that have water and that are gonna be near water, because now I have my sea level. I know my bottom height. So once I've filled in a little bit, I'll get everything going, and now I'm gonna go measure out my course. Once again, this is where you would go to Google Earth and figure out your things. I always flip it to top like this so you get your complete head down view, so you can match this on Google very easily. And this is where you start measuring things out. I know my first tee is roughly 250 yards away, and it's on, well, it is 250 yards, and it's at a slight angle. You can always go back and move the holes later so it's precise, but that first hole you're never going to get it exactly perfect because you only have one point of reference. But so now leaving your mouse there or whatever you have, go create, add, create hole. And once again, I always build from the red tees first. It's easier to go back, add tees backwards than it is to go forwards. You're going to end up chopping up too much of your fairway when you move forward. And once again, you can also set your start length and all that on your own. So from the reds, I know that looking at my handy dandy scorecard here, I got 372 from the reds on that first hole. I put them about 180 out for their tee shot because it's the ladies. You can put it a little farther because you want to put it in an accurate spot, but this is also going to leave the other guys a longer shot. Oh, that sort of sucks. This is why you fill in more of the hole. But anyway, that's pretty much what I do. And I would go back and I would go measure here. I'd be like, okay, let's go sculpt land, measure, Okay, my next tee, and I'm looking at Google Earth. Once again, I've done this a million times, so I know, but it's like, okay, it's like 80 yards to that next tee box, create a hole, measure out to where your distance is. Once again, this is the ladies, so I'm going to put in about 200, and then I know it's 380 from there. So I'm looking back at Google. On the overhead here, you can look at, once again, your angle. And when with your measure tool, when you're measuring to your center of your fairway and everything, it'll give you a nice look at how your line looks, so you don't actually just have all these perfectly straight holes and all that. So you can actually make things have that little bit more variation, make it just feel more like a golf course, and you know, your golf course. Anyway, so I'm not gonna, let me go back. I've already done all of this before. I want to show you how to now go in and really change the variation. So here's my 18 that I've been working on. Here's one, it's the same as number 2 is the yardage out there. My course has a like I said before, highest point is about 75 feet up. This is about 10 feet to sea level, and my clubhouse is at 65. So knowing that my clubhouse is at 65 feet, and this is 75 feet, and I already have water down there, which I know is about 0, go to Sculpt Land, I go to Landscape Flatten, and what I think works the best for this is one of these tools. All these tools are pretty good. I like this one the most. So zoom all the way in and get yourself an accurate height. For this, I usually use about like 7, 8, maybe a little less, but make it fast and to just show you how to do it. I'm going to do it at 10. But so going across, make this thing as big as you can, and now I'm going to start gradually adding height. And I know I have a little valley like here between 5, 4, 6 that adds a little creek in my course, so I want to sort of be able to start creating that already. Rotate this around a little bit too to give it a little bit more natural. We're trying to raise this area up as much as possible, but leaving it while creating that hill look. Know that there's a little T-shape up there. And then zoom back out, just chop down. I'm going to do this quick, so let's go to 6. And we can start chopping out our sea level area, because I know that there's water down here, and that's what we're trying to do. I'm just trying to, like, you can do this much cleaner than I am. I'm just trying to show a quick example for YouTube. I don't want to have you guys watching a 20-minute video. But see, so now I have, all using just Landscape Flatten, the Flatten tool, I already have my variation from pretty much, after clicking a handful of times, what's probably about in the 60, 70 feet, all the way down to sea level. And I have, looking from the side, I have my variation that I'm starting with. At this point, because that's my, now I can go in to individual holes and start messing around more with what I want to do. So once I go back to that circle tool, which is my favorite tool, and we can start messing with things a little bit. We'll raise the tee box area here a little bit to the first tee. This is nice. Well, see, now I already have a little bit natural shape because of what I was doing before, which is actually there in the course. Oops. And I can start flattening it out and making it look nicer with this tool. I'm just clicking in my fairway on each one. I'm even just at height level 1 here, or +1. I'm flattening out the fairway so it looks relatively so it's actually playable. You don't have these ugly, unplayable courses, and I still have the variation of land and all that. And I'm just doing a real quick run over of this. It took me probably about 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes of actually mapping out and doing my course. And then once I would go through and I start doing stuff like this, like I can really knock out a course in, it all depends how quickly you and how much time you want to spend on it. I've spent, weeks just sort of going back and messing on a course, and there's times I've tried to just, use one of their sort of prefab stuff, and you make something in a couple hours. But it's all up to you. Um, I hope this helps a little bit. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and yeah, thanks for watching.